I want to talk to you a little bit about Devon Archer because some things have really been bothering me. I've now seen or read two different interviews from Hunter Biden's ex-business partner, Devon Archer, and I'm not exactly sure what to make of his little PR tour. Is it just blind luck that he always seems to be just out of earshot every time something happened that could tie him to the Biden family influence peddling scheme? And this is what you really need to noodle here. Is it possible that every time, you know what, I had to go to the bathroom? Okay, sure. But I'm not really seeing a big push by the GOP to really get down to what actually happened. And this bothers me a great deal. Every time I'm expecting to see an explosive follow-up question during his congressional testimony, it never came. Now, you may not notice this because maybe you didn't read the official transcript. It was released last Thursday, and I understand you get busy and everything else, and that's what you pay me to do. So by that time, Archer had already been interviewed by Tucker Carlson before the transcript was released. Tons of what he disclosed couldn't be cross-checked by Tucker Carlson and his team, and there are a few things that need to be. On page 12 of the congressional transcript, Archer testifies that he first met the head of Burisma in Moscow. Okay, why is that important? Well, the dates here are just a little interesting. The meeting took place on the exact same day that Russia invaded Crimea in 2014. Now, why was the head of Burisma in Russia on that day? Why was Devon Archer's team considered a good fit for Burisma as Russia was stealing Crimea? Did Devon Archer know that Burisma was one of the only Ukrainian energy companies that had drilling rights in Ukraine? Some of the questions that should be asked. The weeks following Russia's invasion of Crimea were pretty eventful. Hunter would join the board of Burisma. He would also have a meeting with Joe Biden at the White House. And Joe Biden would travel to Ukraine to discuss, quote, fracking and greater energy production. Now, wait a minute. Joe Biden is going over to Ukraine to talk to them about more fracking, natural gas, and oil, and trying to make sure that the Ukrainians and Burisma can do more of these things. And yet just a couple of years later, he's over here shutting us down. Now, this context alone makes for a pretty fortuitous meeting. I mean, don't you think it's at least a little interesting? It's worth at least a question, I'm thinking. Congress treated this entire portion with like kind of a deer in the headlight, like, what's happening, God? And they don't say anything. Now, Devon Archer claimed that his meeting at the White House was due to a school project for his kid. I'm not making this up. Something involving paper mache. Wow. Now, was it only paper mache that was discussed at this meeting? Did Burisma come up at all? Did Crimea and Burisma, the gas leases, come up? Why did Hunter Biden tell Archer to buy a burner phone just 3 days before his White House visit? Can we see the messages and the emails and the calls from this so-called burner phone? Why do I have this feeling that this burner phone has since been disappeared? Now, that's page 12. Let's go up a little further here. Let's look at page 84 and 85. Congress attempts to ask a question about a man named Rob Walker. Now, who's Rob Walker? Well, we know Rob Walker. He was revealed in the previous House disclosures as allegedly being the middleman that received the cash payments from Hunter Biden's overseas dealings, and then delving them out to random members of the Biden family. Okay? When his name was brought up, Archer's lawyer immediately butts in and shuts down. None of this is within the scope. Don't answer that. That's what he said. which kind of sounds like the Rob Walker information is kind of important. This is not how business is done. Why was it done this way? Why was the question about Rob Walker shut down so quickly and pointedly? Why have we not called Rob Walker in to testify? Can you answer that one? On page 36, Archer describes a business trip to Dubai where he attended along with Hunter Biden and multiple Burisma executives. He then goes on to talk about how Burisma wanted Hunter to call D.C. to fix the problem they were having. The group walked out just out of earshot from Archer and made the call. What a stroke of luck. Now, remember, the original statement was that Burisma wanted Hunter to call D.C. for help. As Archer is pressed, Archer responds with this, and I'm quoting from the transcript. Listen, I didn't hear the phone call, but he called his dad. Whoa. That's pretty interesting. I thought this was reported that he just called D.C. No, he said he called his dad. Now, was Devon Archer told that Hunter called D.C. or his father, Joe Biden? Because the statement actually says both. James Mandefolo, the general counsel for the House Oversight Committee, pushed him. He said he was asked if it was during the drive back to the hotel that the Burisma executives told Archer that they had, quote, called the vice president. Was it in the car, or was it in the with the drive home, or was it sometime the next day? Now, this is when things get a little weird. Devon Archer's lawyer, Matthew Schwartz, immediately chimes in and says, he told you expressly he called his father or that he called D.C., okay? Which one is it? Now, remember, this is Devon Archer's own lawyer pushing in. And he's like, D.C. So wait, you said twice that it was his dad, and then you say, oh, no, it's D.C., after your attorney reminds you. Now, this was later brought back up right after testimony broke for recess. Archer's lawyer stated that he wanted to clarify something before the rest of the interview commenced. What was it he wanted to clarify? Well, the Devon Archer definitely, totally did not hear anyone say Burisma executives had Hunter call his father. And it's for reals this time, okay? This time they mean it. Now, I'm sorry. Can we circle back around on this one? It seems like a big deal for the main witness, who apparently has no direct information on influence peddling, merely just to acknowledge the appearance of it, but he didn't just do that. He also said he was told that Hunter called his dad. Then he doubled down on it when asked by the committee general counsel. But then when his lawyer butts in and asks him, are you sure that's what you mean? Oh, yeah, no, it was just D.C., wink, wink, nod, nod. I don't know. I think that should call for a little pushback from Congress. Just a little. After reading the testimony, I almost get the feeling that Congress is letting this slip through the cracks. Now, why would they do that? Well, I've always assumed the rest of Washington, D.C. was pissed at the Bidens for shining a light on something they all have been quietly doing for decades upon decades. Washington is an influence peddling mecca. It is their number one cash crop. With that context, why would they want to bring it all out in the open? Maybe just some food for thought.